What's up? It's Dynasty back with yet again another Mortal Kombat 1 MK Uno cringe content update for you all on this Friday afternoon because, well, yesterday Interloko dropped a bombshell and shared his discoveries that aren't 110% confirmed. It's mere speculation, but based on what Interloko's discovered after the most recent T1000 patch updates, let's just say that Interloko has narrowed down potentially the final Cameo Fighter DLC for Mortal Kombat 1. And maybe you're watching him fight in the background. Maybe. Jade confirmed. I'm sorry, Jade fans. It's probably meat. So yes, gonna unpack how we got to this point because it's a lot. Again, nothing is 110% confirmed, but given what we've seen over the past few years being teased from Ed Boon and what Interloko has mentioned in his video from yesterday, which I'll also have linked down below in the description of the video, it really does seem like meat may or may not be one of the final cameos we get in MK1, or maybe it's Harumi. Now, before we break all this stuff down, if you guys could do me a solid, it takes you a second, please drop a like on the video. Without you, these MK videos do not happen, so I always say because it's true. I want to thank all you guys for still choosing your boy to be your go-to for everything Mortal Kombat 1. And well, if that said, Dynasty, what the hell do you mean that meat may or may not be the final cameo character in MK1? So, like I mentioned, yesterday, Interloko shared an all-new video breaking down recent discoveries. And about 4 months ago, if you remember, Interloko posted a video saying that he found 8 DLC character slots, and at the time, there were indications that Madame Bo would be one of those DLC characters in that list of 8 that he discovered, but at that time, he couldn't 100% determine it was Madame Bo. Again, if you guys remember, Interloko also shared a bunch of those sound, audio files, and funny enough, a lot of us at the time, Interloko himself, were thinking that maybe it was Kotal Khan, but given she's now been added to the game's source code, Interloko can 110% confirm that the mysterious audio files from a few months ago belong to Madame Bo. That's Madame Bo's Cameo Fighter sound effects, so that's kind of interesting, right? Okay, now as for the changes in this most recent T1000 patch in comparison to the Conan the Barbarian patch, for the most part, nothing's really been changed or added. However, now that Madame Bo Cameo Fighter is in the game and confirmed, Interloko ran more tests in the source code trying to see, just like how he discovered that audio for Madame Bo months ago, if he could also find some of these potential future DLC characters. Now, at the time, a few months ago, when he first discovered all the audio files for Madame Bo, he also found information about, yet again, another DLC character, for a grand total of 2 out of those 8 initial DLC character slots having some type of clues or traces that could actually be found in the game's source code. Are you sticking with me here? So 2 out of the 8 DLC slots, one of those being Madame Bo, had some type of trace. That leaves us with this one final character, which is more than likely going to be a cameo fighter. Now, keep this in mind, again, just speculation, just some tests being run, but Interloko narrowed it down to these 12 characters. You could see Blaze, Cassie, Cetrion, Chameleon, Dagon, Suhao, Cabal, Kai, Cobra, Meat, Monster from the Deception Conquest mode, and Onaga. Again, I can't tell you how exactly these names came up, but I can tell you Interloko does what he does and found a way to determine who this final character with the trace could be, and for some reason, these 12 fit that standard. Now, from there, he started removing the things that made some sense. For instance, he removed Cobra because, well, Cobra is part of Ghostface's gameplay, so having Cobra as a cameo fighter really wouldn't make any sense. After that, he then removed Monster because he really doesn't have any real character lore other than what we see in the Conquest mode and Deception, so because of that, the idea of seeing Monster as a cameo fighter really wouldn't make much sense. So goodbye, Monster. And I guess you could say the same for Onaga. Obviously, Onaga could be a cameo fighter, but given that he'd probably be saved as like the main big bad for a hypothetical Combat Pack 3 story expansion, if they're going to put him in the game, he'll probably be a main fighter, right? I mean, there's obviously still a chance, but Interloko's not really thinking much. Regardless, if you remove Monster and Cobra, you've got 10 out of the 12 pretty much narrowed down from this list. Interloko mentions how when he initially found those 8 DLC character slots 4 months ago, he saw that 2 of these characters could end up being some type of announcer voice in Mortal Kombat 1. And again, though this is still just speculation, Madame Bo, based on what he actually discovered in the source code, could potentially end up as one of those announcer voices in the game because it matches the announcer slot in the game's files. So because Interloko now has a way to prove some of these characters that are cameo fighters have traces of even potentially being an announcer voice, that's where he tapped into for this final DLC character that he has listed here in this collection of 12. As for who could be this second character, based on the testings, well, Kabal, Kai, and Meat. How's that for a trio? Now, Interloko goes on to explain how files from day one mention things like Mercy being said by the quote-unquote announcer voices in the game, and obviously with the big update, we got animalities, and unlike Mortal Kombat 3, Mercies aren't necessarily required beforehand. And Interloko is essentially saying that these new announcer tests, they say things like test your luck, test your strike, all this stuff from like the day one files that still aren't necessarily implemented in the game yet. However, the Mercy announcer voice lines are removed for Madame Bo in this hypothetical second character. So plans might have clearly been changed to some extent, but because sometimes these files are returned, there's still a small chance that the Combat Pack 3 Interloko thinks could happen. He's kind of saying it's like a 50-50 opportunity, but again, nothing is 100% confirmed. So that's essentially everything Interloko has discovered after the most recent patch update. It seems like Kabal, Kai, or Meat could be your final cameo fighter. You're seeing in the background here this tweet from Ed Boon going all the way back to 2023. He did a truth or troll talking about things we could expect with Mortal Kombat 1, and number 5 out of 10 mentions Meat. Meat is one of the stronger cameo fighters. Is that a truth or troll? 52% think it's a troll, and funny enough, a lot of the things mentioned in this truth or troll ended up coming to fruition. Obviously, some were completely out of left field, like the Lou Ferrigno appearance, but look at that. Animalities, Shujinko being a cameo fighter, a new color ninja. A lot of the stuff that ended up happening with Mortal Kombat 1 started way back in 2023. The gameplay you're watching in the background is actually from a video where I discussed the idea that Meat would actually be potentially the final cameo fighter on the cameo fighter roster. This is back in September 4th, 2023. So if you want to see my thoughts on Meat joining Mortal Kombat 1, I have a card on the screen right now. You can watch this full gameplay showcase where I give my thoughts on Meat, his gameplay style, what he could do as an ambush cameo, and all that fun stuff. So given that Boon's teased Meat in the past, I would say the most likely cameo fighter is Meat. They were teasing this idea like some of these weird obscure characters would be featured in the cameo system, and we really haven't seen too many weird obscure characters added. I was really hoping we'd see Draman because Boon said back in 2022 that maybe he'd be in the next Mortal Kombat game, but not as a main fighter. He was robbed. I still don't have Draman. So from one dude that kind of looks like Meat to the dude that is Meat, I mean, I'll settle with Meat. Obviously, Kabal is a fan favorite. His moveset is featured in T1000. I would think that would probably work against Kabal, but hey, maybe Kabal makes that final slot. As for Kai, Kai is somebody that I think a lot of you diehard fans have been wanting to see get a second chance of retribution, redemption in a Mortal Kombat game for a long time. It's been a very long time since Mortal Kombat 4, Mortal Kombat Armageddon. If there was ever a way to add these weird obscure characters a la Darius in the cameo roster, Shujinko, Kai can throw some fireballs, right? We should have had Kai as a cameo instead of Scorpion. That would have been a cool way to bring back some of these older, forgotten characters. But there you go. That is my take on this whole situation that Interloko shared in his video yesterday. Cabal, Kai, Meat. I'm thinking it's got to be Meat just because, again, the Truth or Troll says Meat. I could be wrong, but I'm just here giving my thoughts and obviously keeping you guys in with all the news from this most recent patch update. So I ask you, what do you think of this most recent discovery claim made by Interloko? Would you be happy with either of those three? Again, Cabal, Kai, or Meat? Do you think there's going to be a Combat Pack 3 DLC? Do you think we've already gotten all the content already? Do you think Harumi's ever going to happen? Because, well, yeah, the voice actor on Instagram did leak that damn near a year ago, and we still haven't seen Harumi. It is interesting, this whole situation, but again, we'll see what happens. If I was a betting man, I'd say you're getting either Harumi or Meat, and that's probably the end of MK1's support. I asked you guys a few days ago on my YouTube channel post, and it seems like you guys really don't think we're going to get a Combat Pack 3. 58% of you all think that we're not. I'll probably do a deep dive into this over the weekend because all the comments are really interesting. I want to have a whole discussion about this. So yeah, if you still got a chance to vote or leave a comment, you probably should if you want to be showcased. But guys, that's all I got for y'all today. Again, a massive shout out to Interloko for dropping this bombshell yesterday morning. If you could do me a solid, please go click his video linked in the description and go tell him that Dynasty sent you. If you want to sit down and listen to the video himself and how he describes pretty much what I just gave you, you probably should, because I feel like I didn't do it proper justice. I feel like Interloko explains it so much better than I could. And there's no excuses. There's subtitles. Some of y'all don't speak Spanish and you're like, I don't understand what he's saying. Bro, click the closed captions. There you go. Go support my boy Interloko because he does his best keeping you guys in the loop. In a world where NetherRealm and WB fail to ever just be upfront, transparent, and communicate, I'm just thankful we have people like Interloko in the community doing the Elder Gods work and trying their best to give us a glimpse of what could potentially be dropping down the line. If you guys enjoyed the video though, do me a solid, takes you a second, drop a like on it, subscribe to some more MK content like this on the channel. Till next time, been your host, been Dynasty. Guys, please take care, stay safe, I love ya. Meat, are you the final cameo fighter? We'll see soon. Love y'all, see you in the next video. Peace.
Stepping on it crack, but I'm not superstitious. Count all these racks, I'll be steady, counting my digits. Stepping on it crack, I am